Hello. Welcome back to another live session, guys. I hope that everything is working well. Thank you for joining in this live session. Another live we have come on in this NOI session. We will see that news coming up in just 20 minutes time. We'll be opening position as soon as we find suitable entry opportunity, like we do in almost all of our sessions. So today is a special day for coming up unemployment claim as well as the retail sales data coming. And looking at here on the calendar, first of all, starting with the calendar to see schedule, and here in my zone is 10 p.m. so 10:30 p.m. coming up core retail sales and unemployment claims. So around this high impact news, the market gonna be crazy, and definitely there will be a volatility. Already we have seen that on CPI and PPI. In both of this news we have found a very high probability trade setup, and we have opened that position. Now at the moment you can see Xauusd is in a sharp downtrend. It's in a falling market. It's almost approaching a very important support level with a clean downtrending market structure. Now at the moment the price is approaching, as we have discussed in our previous session, guys, in our Tokyo session, that the market to drop and the price is doing. We have posted a trade that we have opened. Come on. We have opened in our previous session, and at the moment we can see the market is, if you guys look at it, you can see from the 1 hour chart, it's approaching that series of lower high. And with this series of lower high here, the market is showing that downtrending market structure, guys. And with the downtrend, we can expect another opportunity. We have news coming up in just a matter of 25 minutes. Let's see if we can secure one trade before the news, and then we can look for another trade after the news. Are you guys ready for another one? Say yes in the live chat if you're ready, and say, and also rate something in the live chat so that I know that you are here. Once all the members present say yes, I can start finding the position, and then also we'll be looking at the full multi-time frame analysis that you can see. Saeed, welcome, thank you. And let's look at here from the lower time frame. Quite a few long wick doji is being formed, and with that long wick doji formation, we can see the market is showing that pattern. This is the 1 hour chart, and there is a huge imbalance in that area. If you look at, it's a complete imbalance, and in that imbalance the price potentially to come back here to fill that imbalance, to drop down, to break below this level. And that being said, looking at that on the market, so here is the spike coming up. Now because there is a news coming, spike is potential to come back. Here is an important support level on the lower time frame 5-minute chart that I was looking at, the market on this support level. Now the question is the market is this market bouncing back to the upside, or it is breaking below here? That's what we're looking at. Now this is a trend line that you can see the market is approaching, and from that trend line what we could see this market to possibly break below this level. Now for us, especially for me, to enter any position on Xauusd, would like to see this market is coming down here to create a new lower low in this market. So you can see here the price is grabbing liquidity around this area, which is a liquidity zone, and in that liquidity zone expecting the market to potentially grab that liquidity and then to return again in the direction of the trend. So to enter any position, what you need is a price action confirmation, which is a number one criteria to enter into the trade. the price action confirmation. This is on gold. Also, we'll be looking at British pound US dollar as well as euro dollar. I see that this instrument also currently in a trend. So euro dollar, you can see it's in a sharp downtrend, and we may see that this instrument as well dropping down here, and highly likely we could see euro dollar to break below here from the 4-hour chart that you can see in a downtrend. Dollar yen in a bullish trend. We'll come back to the euro dollar as I'm looking to see possible entry on gold. Now, if you look at the 1 hour, these are some of the lower time frame support and resistance that we can draw to see where is our next entry opportunity. Now, this is the recent resistance on the 1 hour chart that if you look at, and from that resistance, the price to possibly to have a rejection. Now, where do we need to look at the price to have a reaction or a rejection or after the correction? Now, what we can see here, it's a visible head and shoulder, right? So that visible head and shoulder has given that momentum. This is currently in a downtrend. Now, as the market is forming quite a few long wick candles, long wick means that rejection or the selling pressure in a bearish market. So because it is in a bearish market, here is the support, which is 3319 level. The market is very near to that level, and we can look for an entry for this short-term drop. Guys, are you ready for that? Now, would like to see that the market has made enough pullback, and 3328, which is a bit of ambitious expectation for the market to go ahead to retest 3328 and then to give us the selling pressure. Now, here it's dropping from here, but I'm not going to sell from here. The reason is I would like to see a high probability trade setup with a bigger reward, and that's what I would like to see, that the market is going back up to the resistance line, to the trend line. Now you can see the trend line currently that we have on Xauusd in that area, which is this smooth trend line. If the market is going ahead and hitting the trend line, right, so breaking that trend line, we can look for that sell on this market. Yes, welcome. Gold to buy or sell. Gold, currently we are doing the analysis and potentially be selling. It's a downtrending market, so not looking to buy. Guys, this is very important. If you guys joined the previous session, we discussed in detail, right? When we are opening a position, when we are trading, and in our trade, when we are opening the position, we need to ask a very vitally important question, because this is very, very important, guys. As a trader, if you have experience, you know that how it happens. A trader, when sit long time or look at the chart over and over again, they more often find a trade which is not there, right? It happens. If you are not a complete beginner, share your experience. Are you a beginner, or how long you are trading? Now, if you are not a complete beginner, then you know that it happens, right? After you look at the chart multiple times, then you find a trade which is not there. How can you overcome that problem of finding a trade which is not there? Is by asking question. right? That is the secret. Today 3300 possible with the spike. If the market breaks below, it's possible to break below. Okay, you see it's coming to this support here, 3319 3320 level, and we saw that in the past from here, from this support level, there was a big bounce back to the upside here. Okay, and that bounce, the market has dropped to that, and it might be something like that, and then could go back up like this again. So therefore the possibility for a drop here is higher. Now here is this is where head and shoulder. Now, as we discussed in a couple of minutes ago, when a trader begins, in most cases you'll see that find a trade which is not there. To eliminate that, the only way is to ask questions. That means that why am I trading? What is the reason or strategy behind the trade? And asking question will wake you up, right? When you ask question, you started to see everything very differently. Now, when you open a position, once you ask questions, you started to see the reason behind the trade, and that is the strategy. That's why it is so important that I found it as triple W. Okay, W, W, and W. So when you look at that triple W, you see that the first W is the directional bias. Okay, which way to trade, right? The answer coming from the market structure. Find the trend. And once you see the trend, no matter how convincing the trade is, do not trade against the trend. And that's why you saw that today all the trade that I have open on gold is sell, right? And the next question that you can find is when. So once you found the direction, which way to trade, W, first W, second W is when. That means that at what point you should be taking the position. That answer is coming from price action and the liquidity. The price action is where we will be opening the position after a confirmation. Now, the price action, to understand when to enter the position, this is the 5-minute chart. As you can see, we have 15 minutes to go. There is a bearish, this is a liquidity candle here now. Okay, now to sell, we have back to back, we have 3 more candles to go before the news. We see that there is a liquidity gap happen here at the moment, and okay, so there's a liquidity gap happen on the 1-minute chart on Xauusd as we expected, and this news coming up. Not opening yet. We could sell now, but there's a news coming up. It might move in a sideway until the news, and then the spike gonna be very horrible, and that might just that widen the spread. So I don't want to risk that spread widening. Rather, I will be waiting for the news to come up and then we will be entering into the trade. It's a bear market, so we'll only be selling. Now, this is the price action confirmation, right? If you look at the 5 minutes, this is what you can see, the liquidity candle. This 5 minutes green candle is a selling candle. See, we more often, when we see a big bull candle, right, we tend to buy. This is a reversal process. Sometimes brain find it very difficult to process that information. Okay, how do you think of this kind of green candle to sell? It's a bull candle, right? Everyone will think of buying, but this is a selling candle. Let me show you some more examples like that. This green move is a selling move. This is completely opposite, right? That's what the system is. That's how the trading works. This green candle is a selling candle, but I'm not selling yet because there is a news coming. If there's no news, definitely I would take this trade here. Now, why this green candle is, you see, once you understand that, you don't need anything else. You know that what candle. So this is the second W. This is the second W. Which candle to trade? You know, there is a story famous saying that a man stuck on the road with his, the motorbike, and then he called for a mechanic. The mechanic said, okay, I need $1,000 to fix the engine. And he just looked at and then just has given a blow with his hammer and the engine is fixed and said $1,000. I say, just one blow, $1,000? How does this happen? He said, blowing the screw is $1, but which screw to blow is $999. So it's just a metaphor to understand that, okay? Which way to trade is one, but when to trade is all about to know exactly when to enter, because you know that the market is trending and then you can sell from here. Okay, you can sell from here and then put your stop loss here just to see that one candle has gone up, has taken you out of the trade, just to see that once you have sold, the market, after taking you out of the trade, started to break below. So that is why it is very important that you know that when to enter. To know when to enter, you need to have an understanding of the price action. And to understand the price action, also you need to look at the market from a completely different perspective. And this is what we are looking at here in this live session. With this bullish green candle, the market, what it did, that you see above this level, there is a liquidity. There is a lot of stop loss above this high. Now with those stop losses that you can see, with this one single move, the market gained that liquidity in that area. And with that liquidity grab, what we can see, the market prepared for a drop. And now you can see here with this move, as there is a news coming, any bouncing back to the upside here is an opportunity to sell or possibly to enter into a sell trade. So this is what we can see. The market is pushing back here to that level. Sorry for that pair. Now, thank you. Welcome. Now, with that movement on Xauusd, this is the day. This is the 1 hour candlestick pattern. As you can see, it's pushing back up. going against the trend. Now this kind of move, I love to see this kind of move, right? And when the market does this kind of movement, I want to delete all of those lines. That is where it's basically preparing for another move, because this move that you can see, if you look at the 1 hour again, quite a few series of lower high that you can see, it's just breaking that series of lower high. That quite a few series of lower high is being broken on Xauusd. And that breakdown, would like to see the market is being able to penetrate those levels. Is waiting for that to happen. Now you can see there is this pushback to the upside is an opportunity to sell this market. Going back up, which is important to see. And now it's 3327. As I mentioned earlier, it's approaching the 3328 level. And with this 3328 level, which is preparing for a possible rejection. Now, this session, this 4 hour candle so far has crossed to 3331 level. From the daily, we can see that it's also in a pullback. Now, if the spike bring the price back to 3331 level, and from that zone, we can expect this market to return again back below to this support level. So our zone here to take profit at 3320 or 3319 level. And for us, this is a potential profit taking area, 3320. And for entry zone that we can see here could be 3331 after the news, once the market is showing enough price action confirmation. Now this is the 5 minutes candle. I would like to see that it's completely breaking above, and we have drawn the trend line also earlier that you guys have seen that. So here is the move that you can see. Now this is a significant resistance line here on Xauusd. Okay, so with that resistance, right? So this is a channel that you can see in the past. The market has made its move whenever the price was reaching that level, getting that rejection. Now, if this price with this, we have one more candle to close this current one before the news, and would like to see that it's going back up, hitting that level, and then we can look for that selling opportunity. Now, I'm not placing any pending order yet below. We could place that is because of the coming up the news, and we might see the spike and getting a trigger. So to avoid that unnecessary trigger with the news, I'm waiting, but the possibility for us to place a pending order below this level is high. Because let the move happen, and we are prepared for any trade entry. But first, wait to see how the market is playing out here. Okay, so it's going up, which is a good sign because it's going to that support. As I mentioned earlier, that this market to potentially retest to 3328 and above, it has done that, right? So this is also if you need to know how the market move in that way is because if you look at here, you see this drop, it's a complete one single drop, right? It's a one single drop, and then it has overextended, returned back again. So one single drop here as well, it's a one single move back to the upside, and again one single drop. The market moves like that. You see that one bigger move, and then it revert back again. The price is always doing like that all the time. That's how the market moves. And all other ways that we read the market is most of the time is, it doesn't, that it will not, it's mostly random. Other pattern. Mostly the market moves is you see a bigger move and then retreat back to that support level. Okay, I'll explain more on that, right? So this is how the market moves. You'll see the trend and all of that. Even in the trend, you'll see that the market will go in one direction with a bigger impulse and returning back to that support, extended, and then going back up again. So there is always an extension lag. You'll see that extension lag is where the crucial level. Because once the market breaks those kind of levels and become overextended, return back, you see it go back up again. I will be explaining more after the news. We have 1 minute to go. You can see that 30 seconds for the data to come up, and then looking forward to see that the market to possibly revert back below here. And once the spread normals after the spike, I'll be looking into that, placing the sell order here. Mostly we'll be using the pending order. Boom, that's a big drop. You can see that. What's the information here? Oh, that's a retail sales jumped. Huge, big jump here on retail sales. 0.5. Core retail sales, both of them has jumped, and whatever the unemployment claims, it's still pending. 221k. So both of this data improve, and definitely that will have an impact on. That's a big drop here, as I mentioned earlier. If you look at DXY, it might be jumping. Yeah, that's a big bounce on DXY, and that big drop on British pound US dollar that you can see, as well as euro dollar. Yep, that's what happened. Now Xauusd has broken that support, right? It's a complete break, as you mentioned earlier. Now that breakdown here on gold, which is pretty massive drop. After such a big drop, now we need to wait for a pullback here. This is the 1 minute chart and daily chart. The market has broken the daily support, which is pretty massive drop here on the daily time frame. And as this market is breaking below to that level, most likely you'll see now the price to return again further below. So any pullback on the daily time frame is where we can look for selling. But at the moment, if you guys look at it, you can see this is the 5 minutes price action, which is big drop, a complete break of support. To enter now, we need a pullback. When the move is too big, be patient, right? As you like this stream, if you like this stream, if you didn't like, you can smash the like button. Now, when the move is big, welcome. let's just drop. Yeah, there has been a breakdown here, as you mentioned. Now, this is a support, which is pretty sharp drop. If you look at the 1 minute chart, and we'll be waiting for a pullback. So it's a pretty big drop. When you see too aggressive drop, better to be patient, okay? That's why when everyone is panicking, be patient. Be patient and wait for the things to settle down. Now this is the 1 minute chart, right? It's a one single drop. Most likely we could see a pullback to that level again. That will be an excellent entry. But if it doesn't, then wait to see what's kind of happening, because if the market to continue to drop further, it will show a pattern, a way of price action. Now this is the 1 minute. I'm looking at the 1 minute chart here because the candles are big. So that means that the ATR are bigger, the volatility is high. So this is the starting of this move. Delete all the lines. Okay, so this is the starting of the move, which is from the 4 hour. If we look at, here is the intraday 4 hour candle, and the market has broken the daily support. This is another swing low. So the next support that on the 4 hour time frame is here on gold. This is the one level, this is another level. If we look at the 1 hour here, we can see that this candle has crossed this high here and then drop. So now it is possible for this price again go back up to here. Let me see, this is ambitious expectation, but if it does, that's gonna be a huge entry. Or if it doesn't go there to 3328 level again, then we can expect a pullback here, or any kind of bearish price action that will tell us that this market is preparing for further drop. If it doesn't, then we may see the 332829 level another test, and that's a very good area that we can look for possible entry if it goes back to that level. If it doesn't, then let us see here where it is heading for a pullback or a retest. Couple of levels that I'm looking at here. I'll be waiting for this market to go back to 3328 level. Guys, are you patient to do that? If it doesn't go there, then we will see how the market is moving in that area. And there is a very high probability it may go there. If it goes, then we will be entering into the trade in this move. Or if it doesn't reach that level, 332829 level, then at least to see a pullback to 3322 level, retest this support as a resistance, and then forming liquidity grab here. You see it's now pushing back to the upside. We'll be waiting to 3328. Let's see if it goes there. It's gonna be a very good buy, not buy, like good buy to buy, and it will be a sell trade potentially to 3328 level. So waiting for that to see that the market is potentially going back up or going back to 3322 level for a pullback, and then to reject back down. We can see some movement here in that direction. I think we might see the price to go back up to 3328 level. You can see how the market structure is being formed here. A move, red candle move, so it may go back to 3328 level. You might say, okay, coach, if you know that it's going to 3328, why you are not buying? Because it's a falling market, right? Even there is a probability, still it's a trending market to the downside. So our aim here is to sell this market. This is what we're waiting to see. But still, it may just continue to drop from here. It may not go to 3328 level. You can see this is a 5 minute candle, a big bear candle followed by potentially a narrow doji is being formed here. Depending on how the price action is forming, we will be able to see that possible trading opportunity. Here I'm going to place a pending order below this swing low here. If the market breaks below, only in that situation we will be on the trade. So let's see that how we can place the pending order here. If the market breaks below this swing low, we will be on a sell trade below this swing low here if the market breaks, and it will be a sell stop trade, okay, with 48 pip stop loss and to the previous support, the 4-hour support level here. And the stop loss, the entry is sell stop here, sell stop Xauusd to at 3314.95, stop loss at 3319.63, and TP target is at, if the market is almost there, TP target is at 3310.38. So that's the entry. I'm entering by market. I'm late on my entry, so I am selling by market here. I'm short on Xauusd. I'm on the trade with this stop loss and setup on Xauusd, expecting it to potentially break below here. And as this market is trending, all right, so I'm on the trade. I'll give a shout out if I am closing or doing anything. The market is on the so I'm on sell and the market is dropping back below here as expected. Coming down, and it's a very sharp drop, quick drop here on Xauusd, and this is a very fast move. And as soon as I take profit, I will give a shout out and we'll be re-entering again once we find another entry. But at the moment, I'm still running in. Might bounce for a pullback. You see here 1 minute doji, and Let's bounce for a pullback. Might get able to do trade very soon, and it's running in profit at the moment. And it's a bear market, as we mentioned earlier, and if we need to re-enter, we will be re-entering. At the moment, we see that it's in a very crucial level, and the market trend is down. So if we look at the 1 hour, it's a sharply falling market. And okay guys, so we see the market is on a sharp okay, so we see that at selling pressure to this here on Xauusd, which is dropping down, and that drop, I'm closing the profit right now, and we will be re-entering again once we find further entry opportunity in this market. I'm out with this trade, with the current trade, and which is a very quick trade with 20 pip gain on that one, and we'll be waiting for another entry opportunity in this market. Keep pushing down here. You probably guys have had a better entry at better price. Xauusd, I am recording that 20 pip on that. It's a very quick trade, and we have taken the scalping here. That's how trading is. Now, you guys enjoyed the live session, make sure to give a thumbs up, and still we are on it. Just as begins, it's not ended. We are late, but still on that. How many of you have with this trade? If you are on this trade, say yes in the chat. Have you taken the profit? Say yes in the live chat. Now another successful trade, and also like this stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Now looking at the next phase of this trade, let's see that where I'm looking at for another entry. Now it's a falling market. You can see it's a big drop here. This drop here on Xauusd, it's a sharply bearish drop that you can see, and the market with this drop here, but I think that we may see further downside. This is the 1 hour price action, pretty sharp break below. Now if it is going up for a pullback, that's where we can look for another entry opportunity in this market. So 4 hour chart here, it's a massive big break below, and the market may continue to drop. So any bounce back to the upside is where the selling opportunity again. Now if you look at the 5 minutes, you can see it's a complete break of structure. Now we'll be waiting for a pullback. Now this 1 hour candle coming up close is we have 12 minutes to go for this candle. Let's see if it is going up for a pullback here, and once we see that this is the 5 minutes again, this move need a potential pullback. Now if it goes up for a pullback, that is where looking into the entry opportunity in this market. I hope that guys you are enjoying, and if you are enjoying, then stick till the end to see what is next coming up here. Now this is what next coming up. Familiar music or something different? That one. Okay. Now it's a falling market. What is falling is likely to fall. That's the law of trading. Now, the previous support is here, which is turning resistance. Now there is a doji here that you can see on the 5-minute chart. Very narrow doji. Before the hourly close, which is a long bearish engulfer. The possibility for this market to come down here is higher. And now expecting a pullback to the upside here. It might push back up for a pullback. And this is the previous level that you can look for after a pullback for the market to retest and then to reject. So this is the 1 hour. You can see it's a very large bear candle. After this kind of candle, we can expect further continuation. But at the moment, let's wait to see if the market is going back up here for another liquidity grab. We have 10 more minutes for the 1 hour candle to close, which is very sharp bear market at the moment. And any bounce here to the upside is where the selling opportunity. Yes. No, but I didn't catch the data trade coach. Okay, still waiting for a pullback target. I think you got a pretty big move here, right? So if you haven't taken the trade, that's fine. Okay, don't FOMO trade, guys. This is the biggest mistake might happen. And there will be always trade in the market. There will be always trade in the market, right? So never miss out. You'll always miss out, but never miss out your capital, right? So if you FOMO trade, then you're caught, because it happens. So the best way, if you are late on an entry or if you miss the entry, let it go. Wait for the next one. There is always trade in the market, especially if you are trading on the 5 minutes that we do, 1 minute, 15 minutes, plenty of trades. So you don't have to worry about missing a trade. Instead, what we see here, that you can see it's this red candle is one single drop here. As you can see, it's a 280 candle or more. The market below that 280 candle, below that bear candle. Now with the 1 hour close, it is possible for this market to possibly to bounce back up here to have another retest. This is a very sharply falling market, and we could see that continuation to the downside here with this move. This is the 15 minutes candle here, and that is forming a bearish engulfer. So to enter another position here, we need a pullback. Okay, so this 15 minutes candle is a huge bear candle. The trend may continue to drop, but you want to see that a pullback and retest of this support down resistance. From this channel, we see that the market has broken below, and the next the order block is here. So this is the previous this is the next order block is here at 3295. So someone asked about if the market is going to 3330 level. I think it's gonna be 3290 level. I think so. It's pretty sharply dropping, and if you look at the daily price, you can see that after the previous daily massive bearish candle here, today the price managed to break the support here. And this daily candle that you can see here, there is a long wick, right? So this long wick is in fact an imbalance in the market. So once this market is dropping down, most likely you'll see the price is feeling that imbalance and then coming down to create a new lower low. So the 4-hour price action that you can see, this candle, that current one, is a sharp bear candle. Would like to see that it's going up for a pullback and then coming down for a penetration. So for us to enter, we need to see decent pullback now. That's what we need for an entry for the next trade. Why aren't you trading Gbpjpy? I do trade Gbpjpy. We do. Now, if you look at, okay, so Gbpjpy, we had quite a few trades. When we have a trade on Xauusd, we are entering into that. When there is a trade on GJ, we trade on that. Euro dollar, that you can see, the market is, in fact, if you look at here, you can see euro dollar significantly bearish. This is the 4-hour chart closing on euro dollar. Massive bearish market on Euro USD. 4-hour closing as a bear candle. So on the Gbpjpy, we had yesterday we closed a trade on GJ. Today we can see the market is not very strong in a trend. So you can see this is the daily price, a little sideways on the daily, and not as expected. The trend is so better. We always keep eye on the one that is trending. So if you look at here on Xauusd, now you can see that it's breaking the support level. Now gold is, it's in a very sharp trend. Now this kind of trending market, that was, I like to trade all the time when the market trend like that. Look at this 1-hour price action, 1 minute price action, not 1 hour. 1 minute price action on gold. See how the crossover of 10 and 20 EMA and smoothly falling. Now any bounce here in this market is another sell. We may see that bounce very soon, because you can see it has come to that zone here in this triangular pattern. Most likely we'll see a bounce back up, and then giving us selling opportunity again. Here is the market is forming a price action after a big red candle. It's formed a doji here. we may see now a pullback to the upside. This is what I'm waiting to see, that pullback. Not yet. It might push back for a pullback. So 1 hour candle closed. You can see, as I mentioned, it might push back up for a pullback because it's on a support. It just penetrated the support level here. It's a very risky area for directly to enter. Instead, we'll be waiting to see that if it is, it may bounce back to 3328 level. It's possible to have that before the 4 hour close, to have another wave of rejection to the upside. And now in the next hour, the market may pull back to the upside. This is the 1 minute chart. Now if it is forming that inverted head and shoulder, we may see that Xauusd to have a complete bounce back to 3328 level. If it does, then we will be heading back to that level for an entry. Let's wait to see what kind of market structure is forming. It may go to 3328 level, what I think. That's gonna be a very important area that we can look for against selling. And I think it is possible to go back up to 3328 level and then to reject back. And that's gonna be a huge sell if the market drop, bounce back to the level, which is 3328 level is a high liquidity. There is a doji, back-to-back 2 dojis you can see here. Okay, so this is where you need to look at 2 dojis, 3328 level, 2 dojis, along with this bearish engulfer formation on XAUUSD. And with those 2 dojis, with a bearish engulfer, with a big red candle, with a gap open, with the news, once the market is going back up to that level, there is also the 30 minutes 20 EMA. I'm looking at the 30 minutes price action here, guys. 30 minutes 20 EMA, 2 dojis along with 2 red candle with a gap open. That's how we understand the liquidity, okay? Because above this level, there is a huge stop loss. And if the market reach that zone to hit that level, that's a very opportunity to sell. Now, if it doesn't, then we need to wait to see how the price is forming in that area. not buying here based on what it is, because it's a downtrend, so it's a speculation. But once we see the market has done that, that's where we will be entering into the trade. Now with this movement back to the upside, this one here, it was liquidity trigger. Now let's see that how the market is trying to evolve in that area. This is the 1 hour candlestick pattern, and this 1 hour candle, if let's say this is a session that from the 1 hour, there is a 4 hour close coming in just 1 hour later, and if this one is closing, forming a narrow doji, then the next one potentially to be breaking below again. But before that, it will create some higher high here. So this is the 1 hour high so far, which is in just 4 minutes time. But if the market is trying to break that high and then getting a rejection, that's where high probability trade will come in play. Now let's see how the price action is forming around that area, so that you know that what to do in what situation. There is a long wick followed by a bearish doji. Now that bearish doji is where looking for that entry. You can see there is a bearish candle, expecting it to push back up here. Now you can see it's pushing back, in fact, in that direction here. So what it might do, it cross that high and then could reject back again. So it might just go up and down for a couple of times for deeper liquidity trigger. And then finally, if it bounce back to high of these dojis, another level, we want to see that the market has gone well above before we sell. That's our goal here. We don't want to sell from this. This is a very crucial support level, because if you look at the 4 hour, you can see in the past from this level there was a big move happen. This whole move happened from this. And also this is the 4 hour support that has extended now below, and also the market is in that support. So this 380 is more than 380 candle that we started. It's a complete manipulation, and that 380 candle now this 380 candle has already broken below here. Okay, so the market is below this 380 candle. Now when the price was above this 380 candle, it was a very high probability that the market will drop. Now the market is below this 380 candle. It is now possibility for the market to go back up to test the high, or at least to test this support. And that is why now there is a possibility for this market to bounce back to the upside. So let me delete those lines and refresh the market. This is the nearest resistance, and which is on the 4 hour, if we look at, is here. From the daily is here, weekly is here. So there is a wick fill is forming. I think it's possible for this market to go back up again. See, that's building up the pressure. If it goes there with a one single move, okay, like that, with all the greens in any time frame, either on the 5 minutes, 15 minutes, okay, or 30 minutes, if it goes up with one single move, that's where the opportunity. We need to look at how the market is moving rather than only where the price is, right? So if you see the price on the support, okay, if you see the price on the support or on the resistance, that's not all. You need to look at how the market dropped to that support. What is the reaction in that support? Because there is sellers and the buyers in the market, and the more often will react. The only way you can know, the only way, guys, I'm emphasizing it, the only way you can know is by what others are doing. And in this virtual world, because everything you are doing is just looking at the chart, but behind the chart there are people who are trading. How do you know their psychology? How do you know their behavior, how they are reacting to the market? And that is what you will be knowing from the price action. That's what it is. And the way you can know their behavior is by how the candle is being formed, how the candlestick pattern is being formed. Let me give you an example. You guys will look at that and you see that exactly how it is happening. You see that all those arrows that you can see, now you see this move, one bigger move to this support. Look at this one here. One single move from bottom to the top. In that series of lower high, here is a violation. And then, boom, big drop to that level. And now, see how the market has gone back to that. Big drop to that level. Bounce to that key level, big drop to that level. You see that? You don't need bunch of information. You need that one single information. Look at the trend and see how the market has violated that trend. You can be a hedge fund manager by only knowing that. And if you are a hedge fund manager already watching this live session, then this information will change the way you look at the market, right? Look at 2.5 ATR candle. Wait for the violation of that support or resistance. Relate it to the higher time frame. Wait for the market to stay above 10 EMA and then buy. Okay? 15 minutes, 4-hour support, 4-hour candle bullish. The price is above 10 EMA. 15 minutes, the same candle on the 4-hour coming back to that 4-hour support, buy. Okay? Again, 4-hour bullish candle forming one after one, the price above 10 EMA. One candle open, the price has gone up, and then one single move on the 15 minutes with 2.58 here hitting that 4-hour support, buy. Okay, test it now. You can trade $1 million account with this strategy. That's why I tell you guys, this is a channel that I don't keep anything. I give away everything except one thing, and that one thing is my trade. Okay, for those who are in this academy, I keep that only open to the premium, because in the channel you guys see that I am trading in live market and you can see my trade. I have automated all my strategies currently. Every day consistently we are trading in the market. This week so far we are gain 8% and expecting to push back to exceed that 10%. I'll show you how it is possible, and already we have that feedback in the group that members are trading, and this is an exclusive academy in the whole entire industry that I told you guys. Don't miss out any part of this live session, because trading is not only trading, also becoming a trader. And to become a trader, you need to influence the unconscious, right? Keep in mind, as I mentioned earlier, you need to know how to trade based on the strategy that is proven and back tested, and also becoming a trader who can implement that strategy. Make sure you give a thumbs up. I see the likes is pushing back to the upside now. The view is also going back up, because you guys know that here, once you learn trading, it's freedom on the other side always. Now here is Xauusd. You can see the market is pushing back to the upside, which is going back up, and as I mentioned earlier, this is where the price is heading back to that level. Now 4-hour chart, you can see the market is pushing up to that level. Okay, here you can see the market, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's gonna push back potentially to 3328 level, and that's why you could see that the market to push back to that 3328 level, which where we are waiting for the market to go back up and hit that level. So expecting it to push back up, and I think we may see that the way the market has dropped to that level, to that pattern, is high probability that it's gonna push back to 3328 level. This is the 30 minutes candle. We have still 12 minutes to go for this candle to close, and the way it is heading is most likely will try to come to 3322 and might go up to penetrate that high. So let's wait to see where it might be going in that direction. Now this is also one important level of resistance where there is a doji, and that doji that you can see, it's trying to here trying to revert back from that level. So the market is pushing back. Okay, we see that it's slowly building up that pressure. Most likely it's gonna go back to 3328.50 level and breaking that high, then dropping down here again. Okay, as I mentioned, it's pushing back. We have to be patient here. We have the first trade open and successfully closed. Now the next one, waiting for the market to go back to that level here. And yeah, so this is here is a pure imbalance in that area, and because there is an imbalance in this area here, that's where expecting it to go back to cross that level. And there's an imbalance here, so now it may get that rejection from 3320 level, which is the important resistance line, or it may just push back to 3328 level. And I think the possibility to go back up also higher, as it's showing that bullish momentum in this area here that you can see completely upside. So that move on the 4-hour chart that you can see, here is the price action showing now. It's in a so critical, come on, just talking too long, getting some resistance. So it's on a too critical level, crucial level, and that level is now to play out as a resistance and then to reject, or going back up again to 3328 level. So if this 1 minute move was a single move here to this level, I would definitely directly sell from here, because it moved to the level with a trend and with a healthy trend, and also you saw that there's a liquidity grab along the way. So because there has been a false breakdown along the way, it has momentum. Now the probability to go up is also higher because it has a momentum. But if it didn't have that momentum, if it just it moved to that level with one single bounce, then you could look for the sell here. Now let's see that how the market is evolving here. It might push back up and create a false breakout, then could drop back down, or it may in fact get the rejection here. So 30 minutes candle that you can see initially bounced and then coming back here. So the sellers is still selling this market. This is the previous support and resistance from this 3320 level. It's getting that rejection as expected. So the possibility for the market to trend in that direction is higher. Now if we look at again the lower time frame price action, so after the crossover of 10 and 20 MA, we can see the price has moved back above and then returned back again in the direction of the trend. So 30 minutes here you can see the price from this support turn resistance form that long wick candle, and currently from this support that you can see, which is a big 8-year candle, you can see it's not forming on the 15 minutes a very bearish candle. That could mean for deeper pullback to the upside or drop again. So 5-minute chart, you can see it's now moving again to the upside as coming up 4-hour close, and the high impact news is gone. So the market has rearranged itself. Now this 4-hour candle close is very important, because once this candle closed, we'll be able to see a directional bias. Now we still have 30 minutes to go for this candle. The best trade setup will be for me now is if the market goes back up to 3328 level, if we put that condition on, that is where a very good opportunity for us. Now it may take it as a pullback and then trend, but which is not for me a very healthy trend, because here is a rejection here, and therefore if we see that, we need to see a clean move to the upside to this level for an entry. Okay, so this is the previous resistance, and that is previous resistance, which is turning resistance. And once we see the market has gone with that speed and ATR, which is quite a few pip here. Okay, so from here it's almost 145 pip. We can look for that entry opportunity again. 30 minutes closing, you can see it didn't close as a rejection from the top. Instead, it's closing as a possible bull candle. So the next candle is still possible for the market to go up to fill that zone and then to return. Welcome guys. So it's 30 minutes candle. You can see it's also a long wick on the 30 minutes time frame, and with the 15 minutes doji formation, that is where you can see the market is creating that pattern and is trying to push back. It may, in fact, that will be a good entry if the price revisit that area, because it left an imbalance in that zone here. Okay, so it left an imbalance, and if it goes back up to that level to revisit, that's where you will be able to see that entry. And sell now. Okay, Euro USD is 6 close. What is the daily bias for Gbpjpy? Gbpjpy, I'm looking at here to see what the market is doing. Bullish, so we can see that there's a bullish bias on Gbpjpy. If you look at the weekly here, you can see there was gap open, and it was bull market from the monthly as well. It's a bull market from the 4-hour chart here on GJ, with this move that you can see from here, from this top to this support, this kind of move, that's what you need to look at. You see from the high to the low in both directions overextended with one single move, and then the market is forming that structure. So if you look at the daily, you can see this is the daily price action where there is a daily bullish engulfer, and with that daily bullish engulfer with a move followed by this pullback, another move, pullback. So the market is trending, right? So therefore from the lower time frame, see there was a long consolidation. That's why I didn't look for any trade on GJ, because it is on a choppy at the moment, and we saw the trend, but it's not a very healthy trend that you can trade. Especially for me, I like to trade a clean bullish or bearish trend that you can see already on gold, like this one here. But you can see there is a very good trend on euro dollar, and if you look at here, you can see 4-hour chart euro dollar, there was a significant break below on euro dollar, and that drop on euro dollar that you can see may extend below. British pound US dollar also in a bearish trend. So both of this instrument in a trend, while if we look at Xauusd, this instrument trend is very clearly recognized, that you can see the 5 minutes price action that you can see on Xauusd, which is from this high, it's started to break below here again, and so 30 minutes bear candle. This is the 1 hour support. If we look at the 15 minutes again, we can see the market is, after this doji, is trying to create a new lower low. We will see that 4 hour close very soon, because bigger time frame candle close is very essential to look at if you want to see how the market might be doing. Now we can see that whenever we see the lower time frame candle closing, it is trying to form a bearish engulfer here in that area. Welcome guys. So we see that there's a candle closed. Now this kind of price action is still not, to me, very bearish. You can see whenever coming down one candle, the other one is pushing back to the upside. So it's not showing sharp bearish trend where you can look for an entry. And that is, if you look at the 1 hour again, we have 25 minutes to go. Before the candle close, we might see that the market is showing up this kind of price action. So waiting for a breakover structure. Here's the move that you can see on Xauusd. You see that it's choppy. Now dropped and again bouncing back to the upside. Now this move that we are seeing now, this is what I was talking about, that we want to see that the market has moved back to the upside to key level with a one single move, so that you can know that which price action is playing out here. And once we see that one single move back to the upside to this key level, so it's growing up. We may see that possible reversal here in that area for this move back to the upside here. And Now if this candle is a long wick rejection, look at the 30 minutes, you can see it's forming that doji. 15 minutes also creating a long doji here. Now if this one is closing like that as a doji, you can see the 5 minutes is a very sharp rejection from the top, so which is possibly a bearish price action if it close back below, and then we can look for the possible drop. But before the candle close, let's wait to see how the 15 minutes and the lower time frame price action is closing. Now the 5 minutes candlestick pattern is trying to push back up. Candle close is very important, because when you see the candle close, then you know that how the market potentially be behaving over time. 1 hour candle is closing in 19 minutes, 30 minutes is creating a doji. Also the 19 minutes, that means that all of them will close together. 4 hour also. And so this 15 minutes candle, as you can see that it's closing in 3 minutes time. Now the question is, if you look at here, you can see a big drop back to back, 1 2 3. This is the fourth candle which is closing potentially a long wick, a doji. Now if it is closing as a doji, it's a virtually or from the price action pattern, which is a bearish candle. And in that case, we should be able to see bearish move here on Xauusd. We still have 3 minutes to go. Now how we will be looking at this price here? 15 minutes, which is forming a doji. 1 hour support here. 15 minutes. So here if we look at this price to this level, 39 pip. Okay guys, so here I'm going to sell this 15 minutes candle here, literally this candle only, with a market entry stop loss above this 15 minutes candle to this support level here. Okay, so which is basically a price action trading based on the price action strategy. I'm selling this 15 minutes candle stop loss at above 3320.81 level, which is, I'll be explaining later the strategy, especially just the 15 minutes candle that I'm selling here. TP target putting at 3313.02. Which is started to drop here, though we will be able to see potentially a bigger move. Okay, so we see that it's pretty sharp drop, and also this is a potential candle close possibility for us to trade this. Now with this 50 minutes candle close, as this market is dropping back below here, once this candle closed, we can expect a potential downside here. So this is this price based on the 15 minutes price action. Here if you look at that, you can see back to back quite a few dodgy formation. So this is the 30 minutes also the market structure is being formed, and so here it is, it has formed a price action here on the lower time frame, expecting for this market to possibly fill that long wick here on the 15 minutes chart, and 1 hour price action which is bearish move. So here we can see the market is trying to build up potentially some bearish price action. So if you look at the lower time frame, and we're still waiting for another rejection back below here. This is the 1 minute chart that you can see the market is trying to build up that pressure in that area to see how the price potentially be heading. And with that bearish price action, looking at the 5-minute chart, we might see some rejection here. Let's wait to see. So here how the market is doing now, as you can see, it's almost nearly to the 4-hour close coming up in couple of minutes. So how the market is creating a structure in this area, that we can see that there is a narrow doji formation, and so we can see the market is trying to push back in that area. This is a zone where 4-hour close coming up, and I think the price may try to build some pressure here. So we will be waiting to see that if the market is having that pullback. So lower time frame price action, narrower candle. So if you look at the daily, here is pretty sharp drop on the daily time frame. So you can see this is the 15 minutes here on The market is trying to push back down again. We'll be waiting for a bigger rejection. Let's see that how the price is building. The 1 minute chart, so to grab liquidity, it needs to let's see how the market is from the 30 minutes perspective. So here we can see the market is having that rejection, and with this movement we'll be waiting for possible how the market is doing. We'll be waiting for a rejection here, and I think the price is on a level where we can look for an entry opportunity again once the price has done enough pullback. It may bounce here. It may bounce here. So we'll be waiting for, because there is the market has made a very extended move. We might see that the price is going back up for another deeper pullback. So better to wait for the market to restructure again, and we will be waiting for another entry, guys, in this time frame. Until that, I'm almost at the end of the session. I hope that you enjoyed this session. This trade we will be looking to see, because once the market has moved back to that resistance line, we can look for further entry opportunity from those key areas. So until that, I'll see you again, guys, again tomorrow, trading live together. Until that, stay well, stay happy. Let's wait for further confirmation. Once we see another entry, we can look into that. Thank you for joining. We'll see you again together, trading live.